YouTube, what's going on? It's Jordy Millie here, and I'm here with another series that I want to start. So basically, this series is called Three Things That We Learned This Weekend, and all it has to do is I'll just pick three topics, and we just run through them about kind of big topics that happened on the weekend that I want to discuss. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just get straight into it. So, the first topic, Lucas Cavallini. Now, in all honesty, I thought he was dead and buried. Ever since Jonathan David has come to play and is starting his amazing career now, I'm like, where's Cavallini? Like, he just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. At least for me, I obviously don't follow the Whitecaps religiously like someone would. So someone's probably out there like, oh, he's been injured, whatever. But honestly, just with Jonathan David coming, I just don't know what his role is with his Canadian national team. But that being said, we do need depth when it comes to World Cup. We can bring about 23. I think this year it might be 26 that are actually allowed to travel to the World Cup because you only have a certain amount. And now he's putting in some performances like against the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, in that game, he scored 1 goal, 7 shots, had an 8.6 rating on FootMob, and just literally carried this Vancouver Whitecaps team across the line. He was not only that, but stats don't always tell the whole story. He was influential in their play. He dribbled past players. He received the ball, dished it out to other players, to Caicedo and everyone else. He was just a major influence. His expected goals was only a 0.55, which means that he exceeded what was expected of him. Like, basically what expected goals says is, oh, this player, based on their performance, based on what they have, based on where they're taking their shots, which, by the way, all 7 of his shots were inside the box, he only had an expected goals of half a goal. So with all the chances, he was only expected to score, every other time sort of thing. But he exceeded that and was able to score and push Vancouver so that they were able to equalize and almost won it at the death. His header just hit the post. And if that would have gone in, my goodness, everyone would be talking about him. But he would be honestly like player of the week in terms of all Canadian players just because of how much he influenced the play. But honestly, if he keeps playing like this, he's going to give John Herdman a tough task to ask when it comes to picking a team to go to Qatar. And my goodness, if other players like Johnston and him keep performing like they did, because Johnston also scored on the weekend, then they're going to give John Herdman a very tough task ahead of him. Okay, so number 2, Pacific FC and their ruthless, destructive attack. Okay, so basically I want to touch on their attack because I think they're going to win the league. I'm putting my imaginary flag down right here, and I'm making Pacific FC my early pick for champions. It's only like 6 or 7 games in, but honestly, their attack is just, it's so deep and it's such quality that I just don't see anyone catching up to them. I mean, no team has gone this far ahead except for Cavalry maybe in the first season when they just went on a tear, but they already had a team formed from the PDL season. And this Pacific FC team are similar in ways because like they've won a championship. I don't equate them quite to Forge because Forge, they won the league. Cavalry were expected to win, and then Forge was kind of like, it was a slight upset. And the next season it was the Island Games, so it's a little bit different. Still championship mentalities, but this Pacific FC team won the first full season without any breaks in the season or spring season, fall season. They won it outright, came in 4th, but then ended up upsetting Forge. And now they have this winner's mentality and an attack to go behind it. With Marco Bustos, Aparicio, with Alejandro Diaz scoring just for fun, controlling games with averaging about 60% possession each single game, and with a fan base to just push them forward when they need that extra little bit of edge. Honestly, if you can give me a reason why they won't win the league, I'll listen to it, but I just can't see any other angles where Pacific FC don't end up winning the league. They just seem so comfortable in their own skin. They seem to have an identity. Past podcast with Christian Jack on it and Marco Bustos, and he's just talked about their mentality and kind of what they actually go through each game. And when they go down a goal, they're like, okay, like it's whatever. We just got to keep going and find that next one because they know that they have the attacking talent. That even with the loss of Taron Campbell, they're still surprisingly such a force when it comes to attacking. I mean, they've only faltered twice this season against Edmonton and Cavalry. But it was away games, kind of off games. You can have off games as your champions, but honestly, even against, for example, Atletico Ottawa, they were able to find a goal during that game when that game didn't deserve to have any goals coming from Pacific. It was all Atletico Ottawa. This attack will give you goals, and games like Atletico Ottawa will show you that they actually are. And even like, even this weekend shows that they can score when they absolutely need to, and that's a sign of champions. And that's the hill I'm dying on. Okay. And lastly, our third thing that we have learned this weekend is that Toronto FC, with their 5th loss in a row, are officially in the mud. I'm sorry. I'm not exactly sorry for any Toronto FC fans out there, but, this isn't the same team that came runners-up in 2016. This is not the same team that won the domestic double in 2017. They're gone. They need a complete rebuild from bottom to top, from top to bottom. The only players that I would keep on the squad is Jonathan Osorio, because he's a national icon. He's going to need to play, and honestly, he looks pretty comfortable there, and I think he's just going to stay there. And Jesus Jimenez, who has scored 7 goals and got an assist in 12 games in the MLSA season. He's literally carrying this entire team. So, man, I feel bad for the guy. He's come in trying to do a job as a striker's position, and he's just not getting any sort of luck. So I feel bad for him, but honestly, Toronto FC, the owners of this club need to actually take a good hard look at themselves and to be able to actually just bite the bullet and just redo the entire team. Honestly, at this point, I said to my boss when I was working this weekend that I'm like, wow, Toronto FC just lost they've lost at the death again. I'm like, just delete this club, honestly, as a joke, but honestly, delete the club. And I don't like saying that because obviously I want Canadian teams to do good, because that means I do good. And that means that we can all be more happy in Canada and grow the sport more. But at the same time, you just have a team that's underperforming like this. I mean, no one wants to watch a team that goes 0-0 for an entire match and then just loses at the end. Why show up in the first place? You're only going to have your hardcore fans after the season. If you keep continuing like this, you're eventually going to lose all your, your hardcore fans are going to stay there. But if there's this contingency of fans. So there's 3. I'll just redo it. There's 3 fans. There's your hardcore, your middle core, which can come to games when they can because they like supporting the team, and then you have fans that just come for whatever reason or whatever. Those fans are hard to please. These fans in the middle are the most important and the hardest. Obviously, your hardcore fans are good, and you need that. But these middle fans that come and go based on what the form is doing on your team, they're not going to want to come. And you have BMO Field, which is a massive field, a great facility. They've seen the team win the league. They've seen Canada play there and qualify. Not qualify there, but go on their qualifying run. They know the sport, but then they have to go on the weekend and watch Toronto FC play. Do you know how much that hurts their hearts? They need to be able to find a way to break through this. If it's a rebuild, if it's just retooling their mentality, they need to find a way in order to make this happen. But that's pretty much it. That's all I got. Sorry for ripping on Toronto FC, but it needs to be said. From a neutral supporter when it comes to Toronto and only wanting them to do good because they're Canadian, they need help. But that's the 3 things that we learned this weekend. Let me know what you guys actually think that you learned, or things that you saw or could be highlighted a bit more. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.